Hey everyone, Gary of the Elysium's back again with a different type of video. You obviously clicked on it and saw the title. So a few years ago, probably like 5 years, if not longer, I ranked the discography, the studio discography of Metallica. One of my favorite bands, one of your favorite bands, one of the most popular bands in the world. So today what we're doing is we are going to be, not we, me, I'm going to be showing off my entire Metallica CD collection. Now this doesn't include my Metallica vinyl, DVDs, VHS, I still have some VHS, things like that is, just CDs. So studio albums, live stuff, bootlegs, everything. And I'm going in chronological order. So you'll obviously know what it starts with and most likely what it ends with. But before we get in this video, if you haven't already, please do me a favor, like, subscribe. It really helps me out and I appreciate it. And that way you get updates every time I post a video. All right, enough of me talking. Let's get right into the video. Coming up first, obviously, their debut album. I don't think I could say this title. I'll block it out. Be it, kill 'em all, K 'em all. Sorry, YouTube. Don't censor me for it. So this one was actually the blackened. This is the blackened reissue on Blackened Records. I had the original one. I bought this because it's, it is slightly remastered. Doesn't sound as great though, but I like that they have the Mega Force on there also. So it wasn't the original, Elektra CD release that they did in '94. This is the next remaster they did. Speaking of Elektra, the debut album for Elektra Records, Ride the Lightning. Now, for many years, this was my favorite Metallica album of all time. It's still in my top 3. Changes from time to time. We all know this album. It's amazing. This is still my original copy I got probably when I was about 11 or 12. I've had this, and this is just one I can't part with because it's my original Metallica CD that I purchased back then, back in the 90s. And yeah, still have it. I know it was purchased for me by my grandmother. I think it was at Kmart. If any of you young kids remember that store. All right, next up, this is the CD single for Creeping Death, and it also features Jump in the Fire. Obviously, Jump in the Fire from their first album, the debut album. I'm not going to say it just in case. And Creeping Death, obviously, from Ride the Lightning. It also features the cover of Diamond Head's Am I Evil, Blitzkrieg, which would end up later on the Garage Incorporated CDs. And obviously Seek of Destroy and Phantom Lord from their debut album also. Music for Nations release. And then we have the famous Master of Puppets. I'm not going to talk a lot about this one. It always gets ranked as like one of the greatest, if not the greatest, thrash metal album of all time. Their biggest album. They toured with Ozzy, opening for Ozzy behind this album. Very strong album by them, obviously. And then I have the 3-disc deluxe edition, which features the original album remastered. This came out in 2017, Blackened Records. Second discs have called Riffs, Demos, Rough Mixes, and Interviews. There is a 19-minute interview with Cliff Burton as the last track on that one. And then the third disc features an entire live disc, live from the Damage Inc. tour. I don't believe this is all one show, but it's a complete set list of what they played back in '86. So yeah, this is really cool. Obviously, I had to get that 3-disc set. All right. Now, before they got into their next studio album, obviously we had the, untimely death accident of Cliff Burton with the bus accident. And before they got into the next album, they did hire Jason Newsted as new bass player. And they actually put out the 598 EP. This is the remastered CD from Blackened Records. Gatefold. Obviously this stuff would later show up on the Garage Inc. CD. This was unavailable for a long time. It was out of press. Obviously features Helpless, The Small Hours, The Wait, Crash Course in Brain Surgery, and that, little medley Misfits cover was Last Caress and Green Hell. Now, before that came out, I actually had this one, the 598 EP, the Garage Days Revisited. This was sort of a bootleg. So it features the Prince, So What, Helpless, The Small Hours, The Wait, Crash Course in Brain Surgery, Last Caress, all that. Then some live tracks on here. So it's basically the 598 EP. There's cuts from the Creeping Death and Jump in the Fire EP also on here, plus some live stuff. Then I have a really bootleg version. Features 15 tracks. However, this came out after the Black Album because it features a demo of Nothing Else Matters, Enter Sandman, The Unforgiven, Wherever I May Roam, Sad But True. Then a demo of One, the elevator version of Nothing Else Matters, and ends with So What. And since we're in our garage, I can't forget about the CD long box with the lenticular cover. Again, this is a 2018 blackened release. I actually don't believe I opened the CD inside. Yeah, I didn't open the CD inside, but obviously this is what would be in there. But I just thought it was cool to display, and it was cheap. So, yeah. Alright, so we know what's coming up next, and Justice for All. So as of lately, this has been my favorite Metallica album, and as I said, of lately, probably within the last 10 years, I just love this album. I think it's really good. This is the original remaster, actually a club version. I'm sure BMG is still looking for me for them free CDs I got. And then we have the deluxe edition, similar to the Master of Puppets deluxe edition, 2018 release. Features the complete album remastered. So you can see Lady Justice there is a little embossed. But the bass tracks aren't completely restored, but you can hear the bass more than you can with the remaster. Disc 2, demos and rough mixes. And the third disc, live from the Damaged Justice tour. So this is a complete set from, probably 87, 88 to even the 89, the Damaged tour, which, some of that stuff would end up on the Live Shit box set. There's the guys out, the guys out in the snow. 3-disc 6 set. Kind of cool, that green on black Lady Justice there. Yeah, so first studio out they did with Jason Newsted. You know what I mean? All right, and then coming from that, this is actually the Japanese single for One. So Japanese import here, still has the original Japanese liner notes in there, along with the cover. The cover is obviously in English, but then if you open up, you got the Japanese and the lyrics there reprinted in English and Japanese. So that's pretty cool. Kind of a rare one there to find. This was a 1989 release, again, from Japan. Then, of course, we go into the Black Album, which has sold billions of copies. Probably their most famous album. I mean, Master of Puppets is probably a little more famous, but this sold more copies. I mean, this is the album everyone knows the songs off of. It's like a greatest hits, basically. And again, the deluxe version. This came out in 2021 of Blackened Records. 3 discs. First disc is the Black Album Remastered. CD 2 again. Riffs, demos, rough mixes, and easy listening music. Because it has that elevator version of Nothing Else Matters. And then CD 3 is called Wherever We May Roam, which is basically a live set. They almost kind of keep the same track listing in order as the Black Album, but then they throw Creeping Death in there, For Whom the Bell Tolls, One, Whiplash, and So What to end it. But yeah, this sounds really good. And this is definitely, if you're not a fan of the Black Album anymore, I would pick this up just to, listen just with a fresh set of ears, because it's really nice remaster. And as I mentioned a little earlier, this is the CD DVD version of Live Shit, Binge and Purge. As we know, this was released on the Black Album tour, they did like 3 years from like 91 all the way up to 94. This features sets from 93, 92, and 89. This originally came out, it was like a treasure chest size box set with the VHS. You know, obviously this came out in 93, I believe, or 94. Obviously this came out before DVDs were invented. So the only thing with mine is it was supposed to come with a stencil of this guy, and my box set never came with a stencil. It came with the backstage pass, you know, and a small booklet, but all the photographs that you get in that big box set that was originally released with the VHS tapes are all on a DVD. So, and one of the special features on a DVD is, it's a 72-page book. It says it right here, and commentary and all that stuff. So yeah, they, I guess to fit it in this thing, they omitted the book and put it digitally. I'd much rather have the book, but I'll probably pick up that VHS set one day when I see it for a nice price. And here we go, as we have Load. This is the album that really turned a lot of people off. This is actually just announced that they are reissuing this in a deluxe edition. Most likely it'll be a 3 CD deluxe. I don't know if they're doing Reload also. I know they're definitely doing Load. They probably are doing Reload. But yeah, Metallica cut their hair. They got their new symbol with the Ninja Star, which is a bunch of M's. For those who didn't know that, it's their M. And like I just mentioned, also Reload. Now, this might be controversial to some, but with these 2 CDs, you know, obviously I don't pull them out a lot. When they first came out, I did. You know, I was younger. I kind of liked the alternative Metallica. You know, Until It Sleeps is still great. King Nothing, Here Today, Bleeding Me. But between the 2, I feel like I like Reload better. The Unforgiven 2, I don't care, still one of my favorite songs, one of my favorite Metallica songs. I felt like Load is a little too long for me. If they were to... See, I don't know, like, there's not even songs they should cut. I feel like they could have made 3 albums out of this. I don't know, that's my opinion. Load, Reload, Unload, maybe that's another title they could do. I don't know. And then, since we hadn't had enough yet, Garage Inc. So this is new recordings on disc 1. It's this 2 CD set for those of you that don't know. New recordings of covers. You know, It's Electric, which is another Diamond Head cover, Sabracadabra, and it goes into National Acrobat also, which is the Black Sabbath song. Turn the Page, which is the big hit off of here, obviously, from Bob Seger. Die, Die, My Darling, another Misfits cover. Lover Man from Nick Cave, which is a good one. A Merciful Fate medley. Astronomy from Blue Oyster Cult. Whiskey in the Jar, that, you know, Irish traditional song, which was made famous by Thin Lizzy. They do a cool version of it. Tuesday's Gone, it's not that great. It's obviously the Lynyrd Skynyrd Tuesday's Gone, but they feature like John Popper from Blues Traveler on harmonica on that song, and also like Pepper Keenan from Corrosion of Conformity, and he was in Down also. And then we have the Garage Day Revisited on here on disc 2. And then there's 2 tracks from 84. One of B-sides and one-offs, 88 to 91. That features stuff like Stone Cold Crazy, the Queen cover, So What, Killing Time. And then Motor Headache 95. So there's four Motorhead covers they do. But yeah, if you haven't picked this up, this is pretty cool. Really cool booklet with the Metallica hats there. You know, which basically tells their story of the garage, why they picked the covers and all that. Next up, we got some S&M, Symphony and Metallica. This is a cool album. I like this. No Leaf Clover. I like that. That was a big song by them. I thought it was really good. I do like the cover of Master Puppets, not the cover, but the version of Master Puppets with the symphony. Sounds cool. And you know the cover, they open with the Ecstasy of Gold from Ennio Morricone, made famous in the Good, the Bad, the Ugly movie. They open all their concerts with that, so this is actually featured on their CD to open it. And this is just the Maximum Metallica. This is just an interview disc. Came out in '99. Remember these used to come out. They made them for like almost every band. They would come with like a little poster and like a cardboard sleeve. Don't know what happened to that, but I still have the CD. I think I still have like a Limp Bizkit, Aerosmith one, and all that. Next up, we have their comeback album, I have to say. Saint Anger. I don't feel like this deserves all the hate it gets. What I thought was cool about it is this also came with a DVD of them playing the entire album in the studio called the Saint Anger rehearsals. And then I still have my all access pass to more Metallica music online at metallicavault.com. Never used that. I don't know if it's too late. It's only 22 years later. And then we have the EP from the movie they made, Some Kind of Monster. This was released in, I want to say like 2003, 2004. Yep, 2003, 2004. It says both on there. It's a remix version of Some Kind of Monster and a bunch of live tracks, which were cool because it was live tracks from the first 3 albums, which we haven't heard in like forever because Metallica stopped playing those fast thrashy songs throughout the 90s. So this is a cool one to pick up. And this is what I call their real comeback, Death Magnetic. This album's great. I love it. 2008, they're back to that early thrashy sound with the longer songs. The Day It Never Comes was the hit off of here. That's great. Cyanide's great. Old Nightmare Long's another real good song. Suicide or Redemption, great, instrumental number. And My Apocalypse with Engine's really strong, produced by Rick Rubin. I do have the jewel disc version. When it first came out, I had the original, which was a digipack, but I decided to go for the jewel case because everyone knows I hate digipacks and they just fall apart, paper and all that. And here we have the 6 Feet Down Under EP, obviously recorded in Australia, 6 Feet Down Under. Eye of the Beholder, And Justice for All, Through the Never, The Unforgiven, an acoustic version of Low Man's lyric from One Reload, Devil's Dance, Frantic, and Fight Fire with Fire. So this is another rare one. It's hard to find. This one's cool too. This is Beyond Magnetic. 4 tracks, again produced by Rick Rubin. I believe they were left off of Death Magnetic. Hate Train, Just a Bullet Away is probably my favorite off of here. Hell and Back, and Rebel of Babylon. When this came out, this was like $5 at like Best Buy. Really cool. It's hard to find now, but even though there's 4 songs in there, it's still like 25, almost a half hour long, just because the songs are longer. And next we have is probably one of the worst albums ever made in the history of music, Lulu. The album they did with Lou Reed. This is just brutal. I don't think I've ever listened to this all the way through since it's been out. Came out in 2011. So 14 years later, I don't think I can still listen to it. Lou, I'm a huge fan of Lou Reed. I like Lou Reed. I like the stuff he did with the Velvet Underground. Obviously like Metallica, but they just did not mesh together well. Lou Reed does this boring poetry, and the background vocals with James Hetfield are just atrocious. But gotta have it in my collection. Next we have the soundtrack from the Through the Never movie. This is kind of weird how they did this. Just like a little slip cover that you slide in there. 2 disc set, a bunch of live stuff. If you haven't seen the movie, it is a film similar to like something like The Song Remains the Same, where you have an actor through it and different scenes while the band's playing. And this is a German bootleg, or a German release, I should say. I don't think it's a bootleg. 4 CDs, all live stuff, live on air the early years. First, let's see real quick. First 2 discs are all from the first 3 albums. Disc 3 and 4 looks like they would be from the Black Album tour. So this is late 80s, early 90s live sets. No booklet, not a lot of details to this. Just 4 CDs. You see the guys look different on each CD, kind of as they go through the years. Oh, I'm sorry, no. They look exactly the same. There's something else I'm thinking of, they look different. Then Hardwired to Self-Destruct. This is a really cool album also. In my opinion, it could have been a 1-disc album. Didn't need to be 2 CDs. Makes it a little long. So I have the 3-disc deluxe version. The 3rd disc, just a bunch of bonus stuff with a Ronnie Rising medley, which is a tribute to Ronnie James Dio. When a Blind Man Cries, which is a Deep Purple song that was actually left off Machine Head, but recorded during that. And then just a bunch of live stuff. And here we have, this is Classics Live. This is from Smokin' Records. Don't believe this is authorized. This is an early set featuring Cliff Burton on bass. 12 live tracks. And then we have Classics Live Volume 2. Again, this has Jason Newsted on it. So this is more of the late, shouldn't say late, probably mid to late 90s. Yeah, kind of late 90s. Load and Reload tour. Also from, Black Album tour. This one is Berserker. This is a 2-disc set recorded at the Forum in Copenhagen, which is in Denmark, November 27th, 1996. So right here, this is the Load tour. 2-disc set. This was released on Golden Rain Records. Again, I don't know if this is, I don't think this is authorized. I'm sure it's foreign. Not sure I know where I got it from, but not sure what country it came from. And here's another bootleg. This is Fox Theater. This is actually a limited edition. I have number 38 out of 300. This is recorded live on December 17, 2016, and the Fox Theater is in Oakland, California. So 17-track set released over 2 discs. Then we have in Transmission Impossible. This is another cool set that they released for a few different bands. I know I have another one by Black Sabbath like this. So 3-disc set. First one features a set from the Hammersmith Odeon in London on September 21st, 86. Second one, an FM broadcast from Dallas, Texas in February 89. And the third disc is their complete set from Woodstock 94. And this is what I was thinking of when I was like, oh, they look different on each disc. Not the, they're live on the air one I had. This one I love. Being from Philadelphia, in the city of brotherly love. I've actually seen them do a free concert, I believe it was the same year, 98. This is recorded at the Electric Factory in Philly, November 23rd, 1998. I mean, now Metallica is so big they wouldn't even play the Electric Factory. This was on the Garage Inc. tour. It features all covers on here. Really, really cool stuff. And there's a picture of them with Hugh Hefner and I guess a Playboy girl. Playboy bunny, whatever they're called. All right, next we have S&M 2. This is a 3-disc set I got. So it's the, the regular concert spread out over 2 CDs. But then I have the Blu-ray of the entire show in this disc set. S&M 1, we had to go out and buy the DVD, which I still have. It was, I think it's a double DVD. But yeah, this features everything on one Blu-ray. Pretty cool stuff here. They do a lot of their earlier songs, but then they do some stuff from the Hardwired tour, like Confusion, Moth into Flames, Halo on Fire, and stuff, from Death Magnetic, like The Day It Never Comes is on here. Yeah, it looks like everything else is earlier, but they do No Leaf Clover again, which I thought was a little odd because they did that on the first S&M, but maybe they just wanted to revisit it. Next up, their latest, and the last CD I have from the actual band Metallica. This is 72 Seasons. It's not bad, just for me. It's hard to get into. I feel like a lot of the tracks sound alike, and it's a very long album. But with that being said, there are some decent songs on here, like Screaming Suicide's great, Lux Eterna, obviously. But besides that, there's just a lot of long stuff on there. All right, so I got 3 left to show you real quick before I bore you. This is called Overload, a tribute to Metallica. So this is just a tribute album. Doesn't actually feature Metallica on there. A lot of like death metal bands, nothing really well known. Crematorium is a band on there, Terror, Diesel Machine, Steel Prophet, Fist. But it's cool to hear because there's a lot of these old songs from the 80s. Although they also do Enter Sandman and King Nothing, but mostly just all 80s covers. And then this is, I think it's like one of those Walmart exclusives because I see them do this for a lot of bands. The Many Faces of Metallica. These are cheap. They're like $10, I think, for a 3 CD set. So basically the first disc is all covers by other bands. CD 2 I'm sorry. So this one features covers from 88 to 2003 on the first disc. CD2 features 83 to 87. It's weird they didn't reverse that. And CD3 is a bunch of the influences and the songs that Metallica themselves like, and the original versions that it would cover. Like the original cover of, or the original song of Blitzkrieg, the original version of Crash Course and Brain Surgery. But then it features some, huge names in metal. Like Venom's on here with black metal. Samson's on here, which was Bruce Dickinson's band before he joined Iron Maiden. Paul Di'Anno doing Wrathchild, which was, Paul Di'Anno, the very first singer of, not the very first, but the second singer, I believe, of Iron Maiden before Bruce Dickinson would join. He was featured on a debut album, and Killers. Saxon's on here. Cloven Hoof's a good band. Ian Gillan Band. Tigers of Pantang. I know Lars is a big fan of them. All right, last one we have is this atrocity, the Blacklist. Again, this is pretty cheap. This was released to coincide with the anniversary of the Black Album. 4 discs, spells out boo, which it should be because it's horrible. I hate it. It's just like 6 versions of Enter Sandman. 6 more versions of Sad But True. Like 8 versions of Nothing Else Matters, all by these different artists. And like I don't need to hear all that. They could have just made this one CD. I just think it's weird. Because some of these artists on here, like I've never heard of, like Weezer doing Enter Sandman. Alyssa Cara, I think she signed the Moana song. St. Vincent, I've heard of, I think it's a woman, I don't know. Corey Taylor's on here. Cage the Elephant. Just like a bunch of artists you wouldn't think that would do their songs. John Party, who's a country artist. The Neptunes. Miley Cyrus. Kind of weird. Of course, I had to get it. Expecting it to be better, but it's not. The Blacklist. The Metallica Blacklist. All right, everyone. Thanks for sticking with me throughout this video. I know we're almost a half hour long, but this is my complete Metallica CD collection. It's not done because if I see something else out there, probably some bootlegs or some of the stuff I see on, I know Metallica.com, they still sell some live shows, so it could not be done yet. I'm sure there's something else out there I'll find. All right, everyone. Thanks again for watching. Again, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. I'd appreciate it, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care.